Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Thursday, November 16 spoilers for Days of Our Lives show that Steve Johnson confronted Konstantin Melionis for lying about the tablecloth being from Victor Kyriakis' former Greek house. In order to console Maggie Kyriakis on her anniversary, Konstantin acknowledged telling a white lie. He then begged Steve to keep the truth from her. Steve made it plain that he wouldn't put up with Konstantin taking advantage of Maggie, even though he agreed not to since he didn't want to upset her. Konstantin pretended as though Maggie was fortunate to have supportive friends like Steve who would never consider doing such a thing. Following that, Steve updated John Black on the shady Konstantin at the townhouse. John chose to play devil's advocate and entertained the theory that Konstantin might actually have wanted to console Maggie. To Steve, this looked like a classic grifter plot, with Konstantin taking advantage of Maggie, a lonely widow, for her wealth. After a while, John suggested that Victor might be able to help, and he later made it clear that he meant a vacation to explore Greece. In Thursday's episode of Days, Sarah told Maggie that she was worried about Konstantin's gifts and suspected he might be working toward a goal while in the Kyriakis home. Konstantin listened in for a little while before walking out and going in search of Theresa Donovan. Maggie, meantime, spoke up for Konstantin and said that since he was Victor's buddy, he was welcome to stay. Maggie encouraged her daughter to mind her own thing, even if Sarah cautioned her to exercise caution and be as astute as Victor. Maggie was sorry if she came out as overly critical. Sarah had apologized for going too far. Maggie agreed to watch Victoria Horton for Sarah because she had to leave for an early shift at the hospital. During Thursday's DOL episode, Theresa talked about her admiration for Alex Kyriakis after he worked out and revealed his current job offer. Theresa mentioned that since they would be living and working together, things would get sticky, even though she was interested in taking over Bella magazine once more. Although Theresa and Alex were merely housemates at the moment, they acknowledged that they were both open to their relationship changing and flirted. After Theresa took the job, Alex gave her a hug because he knew they could work everything out. After Alex left, Konstantin visited Theresa and told her about his goal to pursue Maggie's wealth. Theresa was adamant that Maggie not be used by Konstantin because Maggie had helped Theresa through her drug issue. Since Konstantin could expose Theresa's deceit about the true identity of Victor's secret son, he pretended that it wasn't her call. Theresa would have to assist Konstantin in carrying out his plan, he cautioned, as he needed to find a method to gain Sarah's and maintain Maggie's trust. Once back at the Kyriakis mansion, Konstantin persuaded Maggie to visit the mausoleum and offered her some flowers for Victor. Maggie brought up the fact that she had babysat, but Konstantin assured her he would take care of Victoria in her absence. Theresa showed in wearing a dark sweatshirt and seemed dubious about Konstantin's plan after Maggie left. Still, Theresa had to make her bed, and Konstantin gave her the order to take the baby. Xander Cook praised Everett Lynch at The Spectator for his newly released Leo Stark editorial. Additionally, Everett considered texting Stephanie Johnson, but ultimately decided against it. On Thursday's episode of Days, Stephanie and Chad Demera were very tense at the pub. When Chad saw Everett's Leo essay online and wondered what idiot thought of that, things took a turn for the worst. Chad had to back off a little when Stephanie insisted she was that stupid. Chad believed that maybe Stephanie wanted him to be jealous, even if she accused him of being so. Stephanie explained to Chad that she wanted someone who genuinely wanted to be with her, and that she wasn't trying to pressure him into saying yes. Even when Chad made an effort to reassure Stephanie of his devotion, tension persisted until he left. Stephanie was happy that someone else found her public relations technique to be clever, since Everett later commended it. Everett didn't seem keen to discuss Stephanie's connection with Chad, even though she was aware that there was more drama in it. Everett introduced himself to Alex once he arrived, and the two talked about Theresa. Everett knew Stephanie's cousin. Alex was informed that Everett was Stephanie's ex-boyfriend because she was curious about how Everett found out about Theresa. Everett clarified matters by sharing his account of his coma, because Alex had thought that this was the man who had ghosted Stephanie. As they were leaving, Alex informed Everett that Chad disapproved of Stephanie spending too much time with her ex, speaking from personal experience. After spending some time alone herself with Everett, Stephanie revealed that Alex was also her ex-boyfriend. On Thursday's episode of Days, Chad approached Xander at The Spectator and made an offer for his share of the newspaper. Xander didn't buy Chad's pretext that this was about safeguarding Abigail DiMera's legacy for her kids and believed it was genuinely about Everett. Xander was also unsure if Chad would continue to work with Everett in the event that he accepted the offer because he had pledged to treat him fairly. Chad pretended that since he was providing Xander with so much, it shouldn't matter what his intentions were. Xander needed this Salem facility to improve his chances of gaining custody, so even though Chad offered it to him, he declined it. Both of them appeared prepared for a fight when Xander confronted Sarah in the hospital about something he thought she was up to. When he called someone after getting back to Chad, he realized that he was probably the last person they expected to hear from. Chad went on to say that he was ready to carry out his plan and that he needed this person's assistance. Don't miss Chad's attempt to persuade Gwen von Leishner, who will likely be on the other end of the call, according to spoilers for Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that as the turmoil surrounding the baby swap unfolds, Nicole Walker DiMera may unexpectedly find support. Is Kristen DiMera going to be instrumental in Nicole's efforts to unravel this mystery? Kristen is a schemer most of the time, but she does occasionally have a tender place. This is particularly true in the context of motherhood, as Kristen values her daughter Rachel Black, Finley Rose Slater, beyond all else. Kristen will undoubtedly feel sorry for Nicole because she once thought her little girl was lost forever. Kristen might think back on the suffering she went through prior to Rachel and Mackenzie Mickey Horton's baby switch being made public. Naturally, Kristen had been experiencing some odd dreams before then. Fans of Days might remember that Kristen dreamed that Rachel was screaming out in her dream and needed her mother to come get her. Nicole might experience some strange dreams of her own, and she might sense that her son is alive in some way. Nicole may continue to feel uneasy even if Dr. Pierce finds the dead baby of another mother for her to hold and cry for. Perhaps Nicole's mother's intuition is keeping her from entirely overcoming her denial. Could Kristen turn into Nicole's ally and encourage her to follow her gut if Nicole confides in her? You can never be too vigilant in a community like Salem, where stories of kidnapped babies are commonplace. Since Kristen doesn't currently have any more interesting storylines, she might even assist Nicole in her investigation. Additionally, there has been a growing bond between Kristen and E.J. DiMera lately. This baby exchange theory may be the cause of this. Perhaps the writers of DOOL intended to strengthen that sisterly relationship so that Kristen would be ready to save her brother and his wife. Days spoilers claim that even though Kristen and Nicole won't realize it at first, EJ will still be distraught because this baby doesn't truly belong to him. Although Kristen and Nicole have previously been adversaries, the bond created by parenting could lead to Kristen joining Nicole on investigations. Maybe Kristen might even contact Peter Port's character, Dmitri von Leishner, to find out more about his account of what happened that evening. Nicole is going to need assistance in order to solve this case, so perhaps Kristen will step up to the plate. Will Kristen discover that Nicole's baby was taken by Sloan Peterson Brady and Melinda Trask? Thanks for watching if you liked this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.